Let's take a look at a house that's ready for sheetrock. Let's do some best practices for sheetrock preparation to make real sure that this house is ready for it, mainly focusing on the framing members. We'll look at corners and tees, make sure they're blocked properly. We'll look at the plane of the wall for the studs. Let's look at some joists to make sure they're blocked in properly. But I want to show this to you so that we'll be ready for the drywall when it comes in a few days. This home has a lot of qualities of a high performance home. A few of them that I want to point out is that you have a 2x6 outside wall and the studs are on a 24-inch center. That gives you 33% more insulation than a 2x4 outside wall. The next thing we have, if you look up to the header, you have a cavity for the foam to go into above the header. Cut down the thermal transfer temperature from the outside to the inside. Same thing with the corners. If you see my hand coming around the corner, we have room for the foam coming around the back side. Then you have a 2x4 inside wall. The 2x4 inside wall is on a 16-inch center. So you can kind of see the difference between the studs spacing on the inside wall versus the stud spacing on the outside wall. What I want to do is demonstrate some ways to verify that the wall is going to flow straight across the plane of the sheetrock. The main thing is to make sure that the framing members are straight. They plumb and aligned it when they frame the house. But what happens when the wall stud goes to warping on you? A good way to check that is with some kind of straight material on the job site. And just check your studs. Lay it against the wall and you can see which studs are lined up good. If you have one that's way out, go ahead and mark it and then you can adjust accordingly. But you can take this along all the walls of the house, inside walls and outside walls, and look for anything that's out of plumb. Some more things not to forget about before you sheetrock. For one thing, make sure all your media wires come to one location so you get them all hooked up. But also important with that, because this is what we have here, make sure you have a 110 to plug your media equipment into. Your media wires come to one location, your 110 comes to the same location. That way when down the road, you're not having to bust a bunch of sheetrock out to fix this stuff. Some more things you want to be looking out for prior to sheetrocking is on your framework. Whenever you have a wall going parallel with your joist, look up top and make sure you have the deadwood blocking on top of your wall. Think about how the sheetrock comes to the wall. You want to make sure you have something to nail the sheetrock to on the top part of the wall. The next thing you want to look at, we also have more nail plates up on top. Make sure the nail plate goes plain with the wall. If it buckles out, you can have a buckle in your sheetrock, especially in the corner, it's going to be very obvious. Anywhere you have a wall intersecting with the long wall in the house, you're going to have a T. I've got a T going that way with the wall, and then a wall going this way. That forms a T. You want to make real sure that you have proper blocking, top, middle, and bottom for that T. What that does, it stabilizes that T to help the sheetrock from cracking out on the inside corner. Make sure when you're walking around all your windows and outside doors that the headers have blocking on top and bottom so the sheetrock can come down and make the corner and have something to nail to. This is a good sized garage and you've got a lot of open span areas. So when we do the open spans, we have the beams that support the weight. So we have the LVL coming through the middle of it, and we elevate the LVL off the plane of the ceiling. That way, if we have deflection of that LVL beam, it won't get into the plane of the ceiling. Anytime you have a span of over about 8 feet, you want to be sure and put a stiff back on the joists. Now, with this being almost 20 feet on the span, if you look up, you're going to see that the stiff back goes across, but all the joists are blocked to the stiff back using wood blocking. That prevents that joist from pulling loose from the stiff back.